my God, what are we gonna do, gentlemen? I have word that the PlayStation 6 is gonna be delayed even further down the road, but you know what? Just like you, gentlemen, birds, I don't care. I don't think we need the PS6 anytime soon. The longer they delay it, the better.
I just wanted some sauce on those zingers.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. I hope you're having an amazing day filled with snow and birds like mine is. Couple shameless plugs. First and foremost, subscribe to Review Tech USA. I upload content on almost a daily basis, and I stream on a fairly regular basis as well. Also, leave a like and a comment as well. It helps out in the algorithm. And make sure to check out, yes, I'm serious, my ASMR channel called Tech25 ASMR. I have plenty of content up there already. I haven't uploaded in a minute, but I'm going to be changing that this year. I have plenty of content planned. And I'll have a link to that channel below in the description and top pin comment as well. I appreciate the support. Okay, so if you watch this channel or you're interested in tech YouTube channels, you probably know what the hell is going on with RAM prices. They have gone up like 3 times the price, especially for DDR5. And things are very expensive. And it seems like it's only going to get worse before or if it ever gets better. So it's been an issue. And here's the thing too, like I keep telling people, you could think I'm a nerd and you don't give a crap about gaming PCs. You don't care about gaming consoles. You just are maybe interested in smartphones and other tech like that. You're going to feel it too. Down to if you buy a smart refrigerator, because what do all those products need? They need RAM. They need other components, and they're going to get expensive. And if those get expensive in a smart refrigerator, they're going to have to jack up the cost to make sure they meet those profit margins. So there you go. Buckle up. Well, anyway, because of this, I actually talked about this not too long ago, less than a month ago, that we saw speculation or insider information, I should say, that the PlayStation 6, due to these AI data center RAM demands, will be delayed to like 2027. And my take back then was, hey, you know what? That's fine. I feel like the ninth generation of consoles, the PS5, PS5 Pro, Series X, kind of the Series S, there was a lot of untapped potential left on the table. I mean, if you even think about it, my favorite game of this generation is Elden Ring, and you can play that on the PS4 and barely play it on the Xbox One, but that was a cross-gen game. It just, I don't feel like we really tapped into this hardware, at least properly, because Unreal Engine 5 sure as hell doesn't count. So my point being is that even me, a tech nerd, I could wait another few years for the PlayStation 6. I'm fine with it. Well, you may be waiting a whole other console cycle in normal times for the PlayStation 6 because it may be delayed into the next decade. I'm not kidding. So this comes from VJC, and the other article I have from Noob Feed actually goes into a little more detail. They both cite David Gibson, who is a senior analyst at MST Financial, and he also works for Sandstone Heights, Japan. That's why you saw me switching back and forth between the articles. I want to get it right. So he tells VJC is crucially, Gibson also stated that he believes the PlayStation 5 successor isn't likely to release anytime soon, and that previous forecasts on its release window may not be accurate. Sony expects the PS5's life cycle to be extended, and the PS6's release is likely to be delayed longer than many expected. Now, the Noob Feed article goes into a little more detail. Gibson says Sony expects the PlayStation 5 to last longer than expected. He said that before. And the PlayStation 6 will come out later than expected. But here's where it gets interesting. If you're thinking, all right, it's going to be what, 2028 as opposed to 2027? Is this even newsworthy? Here we go. A lot of fans thought it would come out in 2027 or 2028, but now it looks like it won't come out until 2029 or 2030 or possibly later. And here's something ominous that I talked about when Jeff Bezos said that local compute power is antiquated and everything should be in the cloud with computing power. And he compared it to how You would have homes back in the day where they would just have their own like power station or generator, and now everyone's on the grid, and who could ever go back to that? But then you become beholden to the power companies, which usually don't have competition in your area. He forgets that part. The same thing will happen if you have to rely on everything for cloud compute. Oh, you need to edit that photo for your job, and if you don't, you'll be fired, and you can't really afford the pricing increase to your monthly subscription to access this compute power. Guess you don't have the compute power. And here is something that is said here. There's a couple things. First and foremost, cost is one of the main things that could cause delays, obviously, because if AI is making RAM prices skyrocket, they don't want people to have to go out and spend $800, $900, if God forbid more, we'll go with God forbid, on the PlayStation 6. So yeah, prices for key components like RAM and GPUs keep rising. That's why NVIDIA, don't get me started with them, is bringing back an older GPU like the RTX 3060, making it harder and harder to launch a new console at an affordable price. At the same time, major platform owners are increasingly interested in cloud infrastructure and subscription-based ecosystems because they can generate revenue from services rather than buying hardware, and you have to pay for as long as you want access to what they are offering. And if it's something that you need, you have to pay for the rest of your life. Instead of just buying a console, buying a PC, or building a PC and getting like 5 years out of it, no. You have to pay forever. All right. Silver lining first. We'll go into the good news. I don't care. I actually think it's a good thing that the PlayStation 6 is going to be delayed. And a lot of you express the same sentiment with that you're like, all right, that's fine. I'm cool with my PlayStation 6. I don't feel like it leaves me wanting anything more for now. So whatever, let them delay it. 2030, let's go. You know, the leaps in between hardware are not as enormous as they were from like the 16-bit era, which I think is the 4th generation. If I'm wrong, my apologies, to like going from the Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo to the PlayStation and N64, or even from the N64 to PlayStation to the 6th gen consoles like the PS2 and the Xbox. Big leaps, and they kind of got smaller even from like 5th to 6th gen, but now it's just not, you just don't go, oh my God, what a difference from previous gen. It just doesn't happen the same way anymore. It's just like, all right, you could see better lighting, better textures, better frame rates, which that's actually a big thing. But in terms of graphical visual leaps, really, we don't need consoles every 4 to friggin' 5 years like we used to have. And I know it's been sometimes longer, sometimes shorter, but that's usually the average. Doesn't need to be that way anymore. But that part from Noob Feed stating how companies want everything to be a service and everything's going up into the cloud, that kind of, I might be a little melodramatic, but that sends a chill down my spine because, yeah, they're all preparing for this. Everyone knows the AI bubble is going to burst. What do you think they're building these data centers for? They want everything. They want us to own nothing and have to rely on subscriptions for the rest of their lives, so they just make an insane amount of profit. That's what this is about. It's not so people could just, maybe Peter Thiel wants to become an AI god, and maybe he wants to have an unlimited supply of extra body oil, but no one really cares about AI, and this bubble is going to burst, but they're going to be like, all right, what are we going to do with all these data centers? I know, which they already have this planned. We could force everyone to have to go and work and compute in the cloud. And because we're buying up all the RAM and making building a PC next to unaffordable, and it will probably get worse, they'll have to go and pay for subscription services because most people won't be able to afford having local compute power in their homes. And then they are beholden in every way, shape, and form to these corporations forever. Not really what I was intending to make the video about, but please just pay attention to this because the whole thing with RAM and AI data centers is even more nefarious than you could ever imagine. This is Rich of Review Tech USA signing out. Have a good one.